What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Square and Fitness, and the talk of the fitness community is Cali's muscles, downsides, and his physique. So about a week ago, Cali Muscle released a video explaining why he stopped taking steroids, and I'll link that video down below so you guys can view it and hear it from his point of view. I'm just going to give you my quick point of view. He said one of them was for health, and I couldn't agree with him more. Just in 2017 alone, we had 2 major deaths in the sport, with Dallas McCarver and Rich Piana. And I know people aren't really saying steroids was the cause of their deaths, but it was the cause of their deaths. I don't know why people aren't calling it what it is. He said up to this point, he hasn't had any side effects from steroids. He says knees is good, his back is good, and he just wants to get out while the getting is good. And with him saying that, that should open up other people's eyes. In a sense, saying, hey, this guy who took steroids for multiple years is saying, hey, this isn't good for your health, this is why I'm stopping. And the guys who are doing it now, hopefully they follow suit, or the guys who are thinking about doing it, it will reach them as well. Like, hey, if he's stopping, there should be a legitimate reason why he's stopping. I should probably give second thought to taking steroids. Another reason why he said he stopped was the financial aspect of it. And he listed off a few people: Rodney Coleman, Jay Cutler, Phil Heath. Seeing them with these big houses and nice cars, he thinks there is money to be made in the sport. He said he honestly came in thinking people were going to make, millions of dollars from the sport. And that's just not the case. Unless you're men's open bodybuilding, there's really no money to be made in the sport. So for an example, in 2017, Phil Heath won the Mr. Olympia. He made $400,000 off that victory. Brian Ainsley in 2017 won Classic Physique. He only made $10,000. That is a ridiculous amount of money and a huge gap. Like, what Brian Ainsley made was insultingly low. I understand that Classic Physique is new to the sport, but still, like, a lot of focus is going towards Classic Physique right now. You think that IFBB and how much money they're making from all these people that are signing up for Classic Physique would put more money in that prize money, but they're not. I understand at the end of the day, they're a business and they want to make money. XYZ 1, 2, 3. So with saying that, it's kind of not that much money unless you're in man's open bodybuilding in the top 4. I'm going to say top 4. You can make a decent living and you can support a family with that. But if you're anything less, it's kind of hard. That means you're going to have to do shows constantly, you have to travel constantly, and so I know that takes a toll on somebody financially if they're not sponsored directly. Cali Muscle also said, gamers are making more money than professional bodybuilders. Obviously, that's not the case for all bodybuilders, but he named off some 13-year-old kid who just plays video games and records it and puts it on YouTube, and he makes a good amount of money. And he said, it's crazy to him how that's happening, and bodybuilding is an actual sport, and what the competitors are getting paid are basically pennies. Another thing that Cali Muscle touched on was people aren't looking aesthetically pleasing anymore when it comes to taking steroids. You got these big mass monsters that are walking around looking, unproportional, uneven. They just want to get as big as possible without having any aesthetic to them, and that shouldn't be the case. Bodybuilding is about getting as big as possible, looking aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And he said, that's just not happening anymore. And that's the reason why he stepped away from taking steroids. So with Cali Muscle saying everything he's saying, I feel people should heed what he's saying, because he took steroids for a couple of years, so he knows what he's talking about when it comes to this aspect. Saying it's not good for your health, it's not good for you financially, and bodybuilding isn't what it used to be. So before you have these young guys going into the sport, I feel they should watch his video, talk to some other people, and talk to other bodybuilders that you got off, and so they can sit down and have a one-on-one and explain to them why steroids isn't necessary unless you're gonna be that top tier percent. I don't want to say if your genetics aren't good enough, don't do it. That, me personally, if your genetics are good enough to be in bodybuilding. It's just, your genetics don't magically just fix themselves in a year span. What you were born is what you have, and your limits are going to be dependent on your genetics. So that's an important part to bodybuilding, is your genetics, and I don't think people are really, I want to say, paying attention to that per se, because you have a lot of people, I don't want to say shitty genetics because that's a terrible word to use, but people who don't have Mr. Olympia quality genetics, just getting as big as possible, just, you know, taking steroids and aren't looking the best. That's why I always encourage people to remain natural for as long as possible. One thing I've learned over the years is, you know, staying natural is a much healthier choice long term, because you have all these professional bodybuilders, once they get off cycle, they have to have like hormone replacement therapy and things like that, because their body cannot naturally produce testosterone anymore, and it's just not, you know, something you want for yourself. Hey, if you're Mr. Olympia quality and you think you can take the throne, by all means, if you want to take that risk, go for it. But if you're just doing it to do it and don't really have a goal, I encourage you to look at other alternatives and stay natural. But at the end of the day, that choice is yours, because that's why I'm going to stay natural. I know long term, when I'm up in age, I don't want any side effects from the drugs I put in my body, you know, coming back to haunt me. So it's something I'm always going to be cognizant about. And my advice to people who are looking to go down that route, talk to guys, you know, who've done steroids. Actually have a plan. Actually have a succession plan for when you get off, so that way you just don't get off and then your body just doesn't react properly. Because I've spoken with a few people who've taken steroids who did not get off properly, and their body is suffering for it now. But that's going to be all for my video today, guys. If you're going to take steroids, please just be safe. I would hate for someone who subscribed to me for something happening to them, like in case an illness happens or even death, because I know people are taking an excessive amount of gear for no possible reason, and it's just not necessary. But until next time, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Landon Gilmore, Scoring and Fitness, signing off.